The first thing when I think of PlayStation is Ratchet & Clank. The first thing I think of when I think of Ratchet & Clank is the weapons. Now, I've only played the first 3 Ratchet games so far. That being said, I love all of them. As I mentioned, the weapons are a big portion of this game, and in general, they're all pretty good, though they are pretty basic compared to the other games. But a part of that is because this is the first game in the series, too.
I will list the weapons score out of 100 on the bottom corner of the screen, and as well, I will list the pros and cons of the weapon.
I sincerely apologize if this list ends up being really boring. This is kind of my first time ever making a video like this, but that being said, I hope everyone enjoys.
Peekaboo! Where did you go?
This is the first of a few gimmick weapons in the game. Gimmick weapons aren't bad, but most of them are just too situational to be that useful. The decoy glove is easily the weakest of these gimmick weapons, as its whole shtick is that it spawns these inflatable ratchets to distract enemies. The main problem with the decoy glove is that it doesn't deal any damage. Sure, it's good for distracting enemies, and it's great for use in the infinite bolt glitch, but until you upgrade it, which you can't do until the post-game, it's practically useless. Sure, distracting enemies is nice, but why do that when I can just kill them? It's not completely useless, it's just mostly useless.
Kiss him deep with tongue. Do what?
Now we get into weapons that are actually weapons. The Morpho Way is another gimmick weapon that turns enemies into chicken.
Chicken, arise. Arise, chicken.
Again, it's pretty situational, but it does come with unlimited ammo, and the charge time isn't horrible. Once it's upgraded, the charge time gets cut in half. It becomes great for dealing with small enemies or just, singular ones. It just isn't the best for taking on a whole big group of enemies or strong enemies. And honestly, it's mostly just a joke weapon that you just use if you want to have fun. There are way better weapons you can use in this game, even if this one is admittedly pretty fun to use. I barely have anything to say about the Omni Wrench. It's kind of just like the default attack in the game. It's fine, it does decent damage, it has okay range. It's just like, there's a reason this list exists. To rank every other weapon in the game. And you'd want to use basically any other weapon in this game. So yeah, I'm not going to dwell too much on this entry. It's number 13. The Mine Glove. Personally, this is probably my least favorite weapon in the game. The mines are way too small, and their targeting system is way too iffy, at least in the base form. That being said, it does have some pros that keep it from being completely useless and make it better than the default. Its damage is admittedly fairly high, and it does have a lot of ammo, and it can be paired fairly well with the Taunter. But its other big problem is that its range is horrible. It is good if you use it up close, but at that point you're just better off using a different weapon. Hell, there's another weapon that you use up close that completely outclasses it. Sure, the gold version is actually pretty good, but its big problem, much like the decoy glove, you can't upgrade it till challenge mode. By that point, you'll have access to every other weapon in the game and every other upgrade in the game. So what's the point? This weapon does have enough good points to keep it from being horrible, but I would personally rather use literally any other weapon in this game apart from maybe the decoy glove than this. But objectively, it is better than the previous weapons on the list, if by barely.
Yeah, Mo, that team sure did suck last night. They just plain sucked. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
This weapon isn't bad, it's just really flawed. It does a pretty good amount of damage, if you could find ammo for it. How the suck cannon works is that it sucks in small enemies to use as ammo. Problem here is, there isn't that much ammo for it at most levels. Now, in going commando, probably about 60% of the enemies in that game are tiny enemies. The big problem with that, A, this is a list about Ratchet 1, and B, the suck cannon isn't even in going commando. It's only in Ratchet 1 and in Up Your Arsenal. In Up Your Arsenal, it's actually pretty decent, because they decided to make a great choice by allowing it to suck up crates. But in Ratchet 1, it can only suck up enemies. Now the other big problem is a problem with both versions of the suck cannon. Say you suck up 1 or 2 pieces of ammo for it, then you stop sucking. You can't suck up any more ammo until you've used all your ammo. If the fire and suck buttons were different weapons on this gun, it'd probably be a lot better in both games. But as is, in Ratchet 1, it's just way too flawed and situational to use. Even if its damage is on par with some of the other guns on this list, it's just not worth using most of the time. In Ratchet 3, it's pretty good, but in Ratchet 1, eh. This is the second weapon you get in the game. As the name implies, it's a flamethrower. It has decent damage output, probably also tied to the best ammo to shot ratio in the game. And apparently it's the best weapon for speedrunning. Overall, it's completely outclassed by the remaining weapons on this list, and is completely invalidated by a weapon that literally everything this thing does but better. It's not horrible, but as soon as you get other weapons, you're not going to be using this much, unless you're speedrunning.
9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9!
Now we're on to the weapons that barely have any flaws. I could make the argument that the Walloper could be a top 5 weapon in the game. It does great damage and is probably both the best defensive and physical weapon in the game. Granted, if there's only 2 physical weapons and the bar isn't very high. Its only real problem is that it being a physical weapon, despite how good its damage is and how good its defense is, its range is absolutely pitiful. Again, up close, it's probably the best weapon in the game. But for anything long range, it has negative value when it comes to that. And it can't hit anything that flies. It's great as a short range weapon. The problem is in this game you usually want to attack from far away to avoid as much damage as possible. Again, the pros of this weapon are incredible. It's just its flaws greatly outweigh the pros and keep it from being anywhere near the top 5 on this list. This is the last weapon on this list that actually does low damage. Going forward, every weapon does at least good damage. Much like the Pyro, this has a pretty good shot to ammo ratio. It's got pretty good range, but not the best, and once you upgrade it, each shot can bounce off the surface multiple times. It honestly doesn't have many flaws, other than it just doesn't deal as much damage as the remaining weapons on the list. I find that the remaining weapons on the list, including this one, are all pretty good. It's just all down to personal preference. I personally would rather use any of the other weapons than the blaster.
B-17 bomber!
The Visibomb is probably the most advanced weapon in the game, technically. It's a missile launcher where you can control the missiles. It's easily the best weapon for solving puzzles and getting skill points, and it's pretty good at sniping targets. Its only real problem is that it suffers the opposite problem with the Walloper. It's the best long-range weapon in the game, but the worst close-range weapon. The Visibomb does pretty good damage if you can hit your target. The problem is, if you get hit while you're using the Visibomb, the bomb automatically gets destroyed, and you can't control yourself once you fire the bomb. Unless you can pull off a really talented no-scope, it's completely useless in a short-range battle. As I said, it's great for puzzle solving, and it's a technical marvel, considering how good it looks on the PS2 and how well it works. But it's also very situational. But honestly, also the last situational weapon we're talking about in this game. Bomb Glove is the first weapon you get in the game alongside the Omni Wrench. Its damage is pretty good, and its ammo is pretty good too. Honestly, the Bomb Glove's only real problem is that a projectile shoots in an arc instead of shooting straight. It's not a huge issue, it can just be a problem for if A, you're trying to snipe enemies, or B, you're dealing with enemies that aren't on the ground. It's pretty good, honestly great. Its only problem is that 4 out of the 5 remaining weapons on this list are also explosive weapons.
And said explosive weapons do everything the Bomb Glove does, but better.
Crush, kill, destroy!
The drone device is the other pure defensive weapon of the game. Yes, it may not have as good defense as the Walloper. The reason why it's better than the Walloper is simply because it actually has range while the Walloper doesn't. The drone device surrounds Ratchet with 6 little drones that surround him and will explode upon contact with enemies. The reason why this has range to it is that they'll occasionally shoot out if an enemy gets close enough to Ratchet, and they are also easily the best protection during those stupid magnet field sections. Its only real flaws are that it only has 10 ammo, and is completely outclassed by the next weapon on the list. Speaking of, The Glove of Doom is a weapon that you get fairly early on. It's a device that's been remade in a couple Ratchet games. Apparently it's one of Insomniac's favorite weapons. And honestly, I can't blame them. Each shot summons 4 mini-clanks who run towards the nearest enemy and explode. Once they've upgraded, they've doubled in size and are practically the same size as Ratchet. Its only real problems is that, once again, it only has 10 ammo, and it's practically useless against flying enemies. But other than those tiny problems, it is 100% the best gimmick weapon in this game.
I am directly below the enemy scrotum.
These next 3 weapons are 100% the best weapons in the game, and which ones are number 2 and 3 are honestly down to personal preference. Now, the one I chose for number 3 is the Devastator. It's a very simple weapon. It just shoots out rockets at auto-aim, and probably does the second best damage in the whole game. It's probably able to one-shot small enemies and 2-shot medium-sized enemies, and prior to the post-game or without glitches, it's the best gun for dealing with big enemies. And not only that, once you upgrade it, it technically shoots out 2 rockets. Because whenever a rocket explodes, it fires out another one that hits something else. Literally, the only reason why this is number 1 is because A, it's only got 20 ammo, and B, the number 1 weapon completely invalidates this one. If you know, you know, but for those who don't, you'll find out soon.
Now, young Skywalker, you will die.
Tell me, have you ever wanted to feel like a Sith Lord?
A Sith Lord?
Oh, now you can, thanks to the Tesla Claw. Remember how it said a weapon would come along that would completely invalidate the Pyro? This is it. This is literally just the Pyrocinerator but better. It's got the same shot to ammo ratio as the Pyrocinerator, deals more damage, and auto-targets and chains with enemies. Not only that, but once it upgrades, it practically deals the same damage as the Devastator. The only problem this weapon has is that you can't snipe stuff like you can with the Devastator. Other than that, it's practically flawless, and would easily be the best weapon in the game.
if not for number 1.
Tactical nuke incoming!
We're finally at number 1, the R.Y.N.O,
It's a R.Y.N.O anyway.
Rip ya a new one.
which is probably one of the most overpowered weapons in video game history. So remember the Devastator, how it can one-shot small enemies and like 2-shot medium and large enemies. Well, the R.Y.N.O one-shots practically everything, and anything it can't destroy with 1 shot, it destroys with 2. The reason is, every shot a R.Y.N.O shoots out, it shoots out 9 missiles, and those 9 missiles auto-target. It obliterates basically any weapon in the game and tears through practically every boss. It does have problems. 2, technically. It's only got 50 ammo, and it's the only gun you can't pick up any ammo for from crates. That, and you can't precisely target stuff like you can with the Devastator and Visibomb. But other than that, it completely invalidates every other weapon in the game, even arguably the Tesla. Why the hell would you want to use anything else when you have what is practically a Scream nuke with 50 shots? Now you may be asking, if the R.Y.N.O invalidates everything, what's the point of using any other weapons? It's simple. The R.Y.N.O was designed to be a post-game weapon because it's the most expensive gun in the game. And unless you're a filthy cheater like me and use the infinite bolts glitch, you're not going to be getting this baby anytime soon. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the video. Thanks for watching. I'd appreciate a like and a sub. I'd appreciate some ideas for some more top 10s and stuff while I'm waiting until I'm able to get my capture card. Yeah. Bye.